Hello friends, welcome to another video. Today's review is Starter Villain by John Scalzi. Can I get that without the reflection and whatnot? Possibly. It's got a cat in a suit on the cover. Meet the new boss. This one was recommended to me by a coworker, Sherry. Definitely interesting. Just reading this was the reason why I read the book after her. Inheriting your uncle's supervillain business is more complicated than you might think, particularly when you discover who's running the place. Charlie's life is going nowhere fast. A divorced substitute teacher living with his cat, all he wants is to open a pub downtown, if only the bank will approve his loan. Then his long-lost Uncle Jake dies and leaves his supervillain business, complete with island volcano lair, to Charlie. But becoming a supervillain isn't all giant laser death rays and lava pits. Jake had enemies, and now they're coming for Charlie. His uncle might have been a stand-up, old-fashioned kind of villain, but these are the real thing. Rich, soulless predators backed by multinational corporations and venture capital. Seriously, right now? I'm sorry, guys. I don't know why Levi decided right now is why he needed to use the litter box. Sorry. It's up to Charlie to win the war his uncle started against a league of supervillains. But with unionized dolphins, hyper-intelligent talking spy cats, and a terrifying henchperson at his side, going bad is starting to look pretty good. It's a dog-eat-dog world. Be a cat. Everything in that was absolutely hilarious. So the whole book is written in first person from Charlie's point of view. Levi! That's enough. It's buried. Yeah. Cats. I love cats. There's no map or anything in front of this. It takes place in the real world. It's all fiction, but it's plausible. Like the smart, intelligent cats and the unionized dolphins, like they're a science experiment. So like it's plausible, but very highly unlikely. It takes place in the real world. Yes, there is a volcano lair on their own private island. John must have done some like real serious research, and if you probably looked at his Google search history, you would be scared. Like people are probably wondering what he does in his spare time, because he really researched how to be a villain. And I mean like the proper way, like not James Bond way, not Austin Powers way, like a proper real villain. Like they use real world things to make extra money and gain off of other people's losses and downfalls and problems and stuff. He made it very realistic and believable. I forgot to list the characters. Charlie, of course, the main character. He has siblings, but we don't deal with them at all. His dad remarried his mom late, and his older three siblings are like a good 10, 12 years older than him. They're not really in the picture, they're just mentioned. His cats are Hera and Persephone. His Uncle Jake, of course, who's mentioned but isn't actually alive in the book. That's the thing, is he died. His lawyer, the family's lawyer, Andy, who we deal with quite a bit in the book. His assistants that help him with the lair that were his Uncle Jake's assistants. The two main ones would be Morrison and Williams, who help him out. Then there's the convocation of the other villains, and the two main ones I'm going to mention are Dobrev and Gratis, and Tobias the Stabber. He is their main assistant, bad guy. There's a reason why he's nicknamed Tobias the Stabber. But anyway, those are all the mostly main characters. I mean, there are others of the convocation that we deal with. but Gratis and Dobrev are the two that you need to know their names because we deal with them the most often. They're like the leaders. So yeah, there's Spy Cats. I want a Hera. A pet Hera would be awesome to be able to talk to my cat. Even if it's with the computer, it's still pretty freaking cool. I found the book absolutely hilarious. The dolphins are beyond funny. They love to swear. There's so many little surprises thrown in. I don't know how Charlie doesn't really go crazy. They don't really give him time to go crazy. He's just forced into it. He's thrown into it and just has to deal with all his stuff. Like, they just bump it all on him all at once. I think he does a pretty good job. It's a good thing he's smart too, because I don't think it would have worked. If it had been me, like, I would have been dead. Died a long time ago. Right at the beginning. Probably would have died. Wouldn't have made it. Definitely not a romance. Kind of an adventure, but not really. They basically stay at the volcano there most of the time, and sometime in, I can't remember if it's Spain or Italy. Somewhere rich, where the very first Bellagio, Lake Como, wherever that is, at a Bellagio, fancy Bellagio, that Dobrev owns. And then, of course, in his hometown in the States as well. Characters, very well developed. You definitely see changes, mostly in Charlie, how he's dealing with everything that's dumped on him and trying to learn what his uncle did for a living and all that stuff. I feel like it was fairly evenly paced the whole way through. Of course, there's always that little bit at the end that's a little bit faster. I don't think there's any serious tropes. Maybe some found family. Getting to know the people that his uncle worked with, like Morrison. And Morrison is a girl. Her name is... I can't remember her first name. She just goes by Morrison most of the time. Lil. I think her first name is Lil. And the cats are great, like Hera and Persephone. You can't go wrong with cats. I'm sorry, obviously I love cats. My little troublemakers right there. Making my videos lively and entertaining no matter what. Emotions it gave me, mostly a little bit of shock and joy, like happiness and laughter. Like, I literally laughed out loud multiple times during this book, snickered. I found it widely entertaining and very unusual. I've never read a book quite like this. Definitely different. Yeah. I'd love to see, like I said, I'd love to see his Google search history for the research he did on how to do this, like with business admin and all sorts of stuff. Yeah. Things I would never thought of. I have no idea what I could compare it to because I've never read anything quite like this. Definitely a little sci-fi in there with the genetically enhanced animals for sure. Yeah, I don't know who to compare it to. I'm really sorry. I didn't even try to look that up because I don't... There's probably something else out there. If anything wrote anything, like, I'd say similar writing to Christopher Moore. For sure. If you've heard of him. I definitely liked this book. Definitely funny. I don't think I'll reread it. I borrowed it from my library, by the way. I've mentioned that in some of my past videos. I haven't done that recently. Library book. Check out your library. Best resource in the world. I would give it a 4 out of 5 star ratings. Exceeded my expectations. Highly entertaining. The writing is great. The plot was very engaging. Characters are complex. Definitely emotionally moving. I loved some parts. Obviously, there's going to be parts you don't care for, but that's what makes a book great when there's parts you don't care for. Fairly good page turner. I feel like I read it pretty fast. I think it's been less than a week since I did my last review. I'm unsure. Probably won't reread it, but I do Highly, highly recommend it. Very entertaining. Totally worth it. He has several other books too. I don't know if you want to try one of his other ones, but there's like a whole page here with a list of other books he's read. If you want to pause it and read some of those. I don't know how close I can get to the camera so you guys can actually read the other books there. To check it out. Because that's all I'm going to do. I'm not going to type those all out into the description box. Sorry, guys. But anyway, check it out. Starter Villain by John Scalzi. And I really hope you enjoyed that video. Please like and subscribe. And I will see you in the next video.